There was a time, a moment before light, before matter, before even the gods themselves, before the familiar faces of Zeus, Odin, or Ra ruled over heavens and men. Something else existed, something darker, stranger, and infinitely more ancient. Across cultures and centuries, humanity has told stories to explain the birth of everything, not just of the world, but of the forces that shaped it. And at the heart of nearly every mythology lies a common idea. Before creation, there was chaos. Not chaos as in confusion, but as in a boundless, undefined potential, a darkness pregnant with everything to come. And from this primordial chaos, the first gods emerged. But these were not the wise, noble deities who would one day become kings of Olympus or judges of the underworld. No, these early gods were raw, immense, unpredictable. They were the titans, the monsters, the mothers of oceans, the fathers of storms. Beings closer to natural forces than to personalities. In some myths, they fought among themselves. In others, they were slain by their children. And in many, the universe itself was built from their dismembered bodies. This video is a journey back to the beginning, to the moment where the world was still formless. We'll explore how the ancient Greeks imagined Gaia rising from chaos, how Mesopotamians told of Tiamat and Apsu giving birth to gods before being destroyed, how the Norse believed the first giant was licked out of ice, and how the Egyptians shaped reality from an endless sea of dark water. These stories don't just tell us how the world began. They reveal how our ancestors understood power, change, and creation itself. So let's go back. Back before the throne of Zeus. Back before the world had shape. Back to the time when gods were born from darkness and chaos reigned. When we imagine chaos today, we often think of confusion, of crowded streets, political instability, natural disasters. We see it as the absence of structure. But in ancient mythologies, chaos is something far more profound. It's not a problem to be solved. It's the source of everything. Let's start with the Greeks. In Hesiod's Theogony, one of the oldest surviving accounts of Greek cosmogony, the very first line declares, "In the beginning, there was chaos." But this chaos is not a person, nor even a force. It's a gaping chasm, a yawning void, a space where nothing exists, but from which everything will emerge. Not destruction, not even disorder, but pure potential. From chaos, several beings are born. First comes Gaia, the earth, solid, nurturing, the mother of all life. Then Tartarus, the abyss beneath the earth, deep and shadowy. And then Eros, the primordial force of attraction, not yet the god of love with wings and arrows, but a kind of cosmic magnetism that pulls things together and sets creation in motion. Night and darkness also emerge, Nyx and Erebus, and from their union come more entities. Chaos, in this sense, is a generator, a cosmic engine, an empty stage where the first players are summoned. In Egypt, the myth begins not with a void of space, but a sea without shore, dark, infinite, still. This is Nun, or Nu, the primordial waters. The Egyptians imagined the beginning as a kind of infinite ocean, formless and eternal. Floating within it is a potential for creation, but nothing is yet defined. Then a single mound of earth rises from the water, the Benben, and upon it appears Adam, the self-created god. Alone, Adam gives rise to the other deities, Shu, air, and Tefnut, moisture, who in turn generate the sky, the earth, and so on. This emergence from water is deeply symbolic in Egypt, a civilization born along the Nile, where the annual flood represented both chaos and fertility. Nun was not evil or threatening. It was simply the necessary backdrop from which creation could stand out. Now travel east to the land between the rivers, ancient Mesopotamia. Here, the myth of creation is far more dramatic. In the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic, the world begins with two elemental beings, Apsu, the god of fresh water, and Tiamat, the goddess of salt water. They mix together in harmony, and from their union, younger gods are born. But these children are noisy, chaotic in a new way, unpredictable, irreverent. Apsu becomes irritated and plots to destroy them. Tiamat, at first passive, is horrified. But when her beloved is killed by the younger gods, her grief transforms into rage. She creates monsters, serpents, dragons, and abominations, to avenge Apsu and reclaim cosmic order. One of the young gods, Marduk, rises to challenge her. He slays her in battle and uses her divided body to shape the universe. Her ribs become the sky, her eyes become rivers, her tail becomes the Milky Way. In this myth, chaos is not just the beginning, it is also a cycle. Creation arises through violence, death, and reconfiguration. The world is literally built from the body of chaos. Now, look northward to the icy mists of Scandinavia. The Norse cosmos begins not in warmth, but in Ginnungagap, the yawning void. To the south of this void lies Muspel, the land of fire. To the north, Niflheim, the land of ice. When the two meet in the middle, fire melts the ice, and from the drops emerges Ymir, the first being, a frost giant. Alongside him appears a cosmic cow, Audhumla, who nourishes him with milk and licks the salty ice for sustenance. From the cow's licking comes another being, Buri, ancestor of the gods. Eventually, the gods, born from this lineage, rise against Ymir, kill him, and fashion the world from his body. His flesh becomes earth, his blood the oceans, his skull the sky, and his bones the mountains. Just like in the Enuma Elish, the body of the primordial being is dismembered and transformed. But here again, chaos is essential. It is the raw material for everything. What's striking across all these cultures? Greek, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, Norse is not just the presence of chaos, but the reverence toward it. It's never simply a mess to be cleaned up. It is the crucible of potential, the amniotic sea in which everything is gestating. In many cases, chaos gives rise to the first gods, not fully formed deities, but vast, impersonal, elemental forces. In others, chaos is the first god. Either way, it's not destroyed or erased, it's transformed. It becomes part of the cosmos, even as the cosmos grows away from it. And perhaps there's a hidden message here. That before structure, there must be flux. That before meaning, there must be mystery. And that from the depths of chaos, the seeds of wonder are always waiting to grow. In the Greek imagination, the world didn't just appear. It unfolded like a vast and ancient family tree, each branch heavier than the last, filled with gods, monsters, and destiny. And at the very root of that tree, after chaos, came Gaia. Gaia, the earth itself, is not born. She simply emerges. Solid, ancient, nurturing. She is the first real presence in the universe. From within her, she creates Auranas, the sky, to be her equal and her mate. Their union is one of opposites, earth and sky, below and above, fertile and expansive. Together, Gaia and Auranas give birth to a terrifyingly powerful generation, the Titans. These are not the Olympians we know, not the gods of poetry, wine, or war. The Titans are massive, elemental forces. They represent concepts as ancient as the world itself. Oceanus, the endless river that encircles the world. Hyperion, the light of the heavens. Themis, law and divine order. Mnemosyne, memory. Chronos time. They are 12 in total, and with them come other strange children. The one-eyed Cyclopes, masters of thunder and lightning, and the Cinemanes, monstrous beings with 100 arms and 50 heads. These children, to Auranas, are hideous. He is horrified by their form, and so, in an act of fear and cruelty, he hides them deep within Gaia's womb, burying them beneath the earth. Gaia suffers, not just emotionally, but physically. She is earth, and the weight of her imprisoned children is unbearable. She crafts a plan for revenge. She creates a sickle of unbreakable flint and offers it to her sons. Only Kronos, the youngest Titan, dares to take it. One night, as Uranus descends to lie with Gaia, Kronos leaps from hiding. With a single blow, he castrates his father. The blood of Uranus spills across the earth, giving birth to the Furies, goddesses of vengeance, the giants, and the Melee, nymphs of ash trees. From the sea foam that gathers around his severed organ, Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, will eventually be born. Kronos rises as the new ruler. But this is no happy ending, because Kronos, too, will be haunted by prophecy. Just as he overthrew his father, he is told that one of his own children will overthrow him. To stop this, he swallows each child as soon as they are born: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. But his wife, Rhea, cannot bear to lose another. When Zeus is born, she hides him away and gives Kronos a stone wrapped in cloth. He swallows it whole, never suspecting the deception. The story of the Titans is not just one of gods. It's a story of power, fear, betrayal, and the unstoppable passage of time. Kronos, whose very name means time, becomes the perfect symbol of what all tyrants fear: the future. And so the stage is set. The Titans reign, but the next generation waits in secret. A storm is coming, one that will reshape the heavens. Long before Greece imagined Olympus, and before the Norse carved their sagas in stone and ice, there was Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers. Cradle of civilization, home to the first cities, the first writing systems, and the first gods committed to clay. Here, in the shadow of ziggurats, and under the ever-shifting sky of ancient Sumer and Babylon, a powerful myth of creation was born. A myth not of gentle emergence, but of cosmic conflict. A war in the heavens. It begins with two beings, Apsu and Tiamat. Apsu, the god of fresh water, and Tiamat, the goddess of salt water, represent the primordial elements of life in Mesopotamian cosmology. Together, they form the waters of chaos, the mingling of opposites, sweet and bitter, calm and storm. They're not yet bound by personality. They are forces, boundless, powerful, and timeless. From their union come the first gods, Lamu, Lahamu, then Anshar and Kishar, and finally Anu, the god of the sky. Each new generation is slightly more ordered, more structured, more anthropomorphic. The original chaos begins to take shape, to dream of a cosmos. But with each new god comes more noise, more disruption. The younger gods are active, vocal, irreverent. They fill the universe with motion. And Apsu, the old god of stillness and depth, is disturbed. He wishes to silence them forever. Tiamat, however, resists. She does not agree with her partner's plan to destroy their children. But when Apsu is killed by the clever god Ea, who strikes first to protect the younger gods, Tiamat's grief transforms. What was once resistance becomes wrath. Cosmic, divine, and apocalyptic. She creates an army of monsters, 11 terrifying beasts. Serpents with razor-sharp teeth, dragons with venomous breath, chimeric horrors that defy imagination. She chooses a new consort, Kingu, and gives him the Tablet of Destinies, a divine artifact that grants absolute command over fate itself. With this new army, Tiamat prepares to avenge Apsu and destroy the younger gods. Panic spreads through the divine realm. None of the gods dare to face her. None but one, Marduk, son of Ea, a warrior god of storms, lightning, and judgment. He steps forward with a bold proposition. If he defeats Tiamat, he will rule the cosmos. The gods agree. The battle between Marduk and Tiamat is titanic. A clash of storms and oceans, order and chaos, son and mother. Marduk crafts a massive net to trap her, calls upon the winds to hold her still, and with a single arrow, he pierces her heart. Her body falls. But death is not the end. It is the beginning. Marduk divides Tiamat's corpse. With one half, he creates the sky, with the other the earth. Her ribs become the vault of heaven. Her eyes become the Tigris and Euphrates. Her tail becomes the Milky Way. From her defeated form, the world is born, structured, mapped, made comprehensible. Her chaos is transformed into cosmos. As for Kingu, Marduk captures him, strips him of the tablet of destinies, and uses his blood to create humanity. Humans are thus born not from divine love, but from punishment, from war. We are the children of rebellion. The Enuma Elish, the epic that recounts all this, is not just a myth, it was a political statement. It was recited during the New Year festival in Babylon, affirming Marduk's supremacy and, by extension, the dominance of Babylon over other Mesopotamian cities and cults. In this tale, we see the cosmic mirrored in the political. Creation is conquest, and order is imposed through power. But the deeper theme is universal. Tiamat is not simply evil. She is not a villain. She is primordial, sacred, and immense. She is the embodiment of an earlier world, one that was untamed, feminine, fluid. And like many such forces in mythology, she is slain to make way for a newer order, ruled by hierarchy, masculinity, and reason. This dynamic, the slaying of the older, often maternal chaos by the rising force of law and clarity, echoes far beyond Babylon. We will see it again in Norse myth, in Hindu cosmology, in countless hero tales. Tiamat, for all her monstrous portrayal, is not truly gone. Her body is the world. Every river that flows, every breeze that stirs, every heartbeat that quickens, carries within it the memory of the mother of chaos. If Mesopotamian creation is a divine war, and Greek creation a cosmic family drama, Egyptian mythology offers something altogether different, something more cyclical, serene, and sacred. The ancient Egyptians didn't see the cosmos as born out of violence. For them, the universe emerged like the sunrise over the Nile. Slowly, majestically, and with divine inevitability. At the beginning, there was none, the primordial waters, not chaotic in the Mesopotamian sense, but infinite and undisturbed. A vast ocean of potential, calm and still. Nun wasn't just a sea. He was the concept of boundlessness itself. The Egyptians believed the world had once been covered entirely by these waters, and that all of reality had yet to be drawn out from them. From this formless expanse rose the Benben, the first mound of earth. This hill was sacred, symbolizing the emergence of structure, of land, of form. It mirrors the way the Nile would recede after a flood, leaving behind fertile soil and new life. This moment, the rise of the Benben from Nun, is the Egyptian version of creation's very first breath. And from this hill emerged Adam, the self-created God. Alone, Adam produced the first divine pair, Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. From their union came Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky. Through this quiet sequence of divine births, the cosmos unfolded. Atmosphere, land, heaven. It was not conquest. It was generation. And from generation, balance. But even before Adam, older concepts stirred beneath the surface of the waters. In the city of Hermopolis, the priests imagined a more ancient model, a group of 8 primordial deities known as the Ogdoad. These were not gods in the personal sense, but personifications of universal principles. They came in 4 pairs, Nun and Nonnet, the primordial waters He and Hahe, infinite time and space Kek and Kakhet, darkness Ammonius and Amunet. The hidden and the mysterious, each pair consisted of a male and female aspect, balancing opposites, holding reality in tension. They were often depicted as humanoid figures with frog or serpent heads, symbols of fertility and rebirth, common in the Egyptian worldview. Together, these 8 forces floated in the endless waters before creation. Their interaction generated the spark that would give rise to the sun, the first clear act of divine creation. In some accounts, they cause a cosmic egg to form. From that egg, the sun god Ra is born, illuminating the world and setting time itself into motion. This moment, the birth of Ra from the egg, is both cosmic and daily. Every morning, the sun rises anew. Every day, the world is reborn. For the Egyptians, myth and time were not linear. They were circular. What had happened in the distant beginning happened again every sunrise. This cyclical view is essential to understanding Egyptian cosmology. The world is not born once. It is always being reborn. Chaos, none, darkness, invisibility, remains present but is held back by the structure of the cosmos. Every temple, every ritual, every hieroglyph is an act of ma'at, of re-establishing balance, truth, and cosmic harmony. In that sense, Egyptian mythology doesn't treat chaos as something to destroy, but something to harmonize with. None is still there. The Ogdoads still float beneath the world. But they are not enemies. They are the foundation. And unlike other traditions where chaos is cast down, slain, or broken apart, here it is remembered, honored. It is not the past. It is the source. Far to the north, where winter stretches into legend and mountains pierce the sky like frozen fangs, the Norse imagined a beginning very different from their Mediterranean neighbors. There was no calm sea, no divine womb, no eternal order. The Norse cosmos began in a place of extremes, a place of tension, of contrast, and of inevitable collision. At the very beginning, there was nothing. No sky, no earth, no gods, only a great void, Ginnunga gap, the yawning emptiness. Vast, silent, and absolute. To the north of this gap lay Niflheim, the realm of ice. Bitter cold, thick with frost and mist. It was a land of silence and slowness, frozen and heavy where nothing stirred. To the south burned Muspel, a world of fire and light, a place of relentless heat, chaos, and blinding brilliance. Between these two extremes lay Ginnunga gap, untouched, waiting. But when the warm winds of Muspel began to melt the frost of Niflheim, change erupted. Out of the drops of melting ice came the first being, Ymir, the proto-giant, the ancestor of all giants, known as the Jotnar. He was not born of parents. He was not shaped by hands. He simply emerged, immense and alien. Alongside Ymir came Audhumla, a primordial cow. She nourished him with her milk, 4 rivers of it, and licked the salty blocks of ice for sustenance. From her licking, another figure was revealed, Buri, the first god, ancestor of Odin, Vili, and Ve. Ymir, meanwhile, sweated. From his armpits and legs sprang more giants, a chaotic brood that would one day challenge the gods. He was the embodiment of uncontrolled growth, of primal fertility, of a world still raw and unformed. Eventually, Odin and his brothers rose to power. To bring order to the cosmos, they did what so many creator gods do. They killed the Primordial. They slew Ymir, and from his massive body, they crafted the world. His blood became the oceans, his flesh the land, his bones the mountains, his teeth the stones, his skull the dome of the sky, his brains the clouds, his eyebrows the wall that separated the human world, Midgard from the realm of giants. The image is brutal, visceral, and profound. The world is not gently shaped. It is carved from sacrifice. It is born through violence. Just like in Babylon, where Marduk slays Tiamat, the Norse gods impose order by destroying their predecessor. And yet, the echoes of Ymir remain. Giants continue to walk the world. They are not just monsters, they are reminders. Fragments of the old world, older than the gods, older than memory. This duality, creation from destruction, order from chaos, gods from giants, runs through all of Norse mythology. The gods themselves are not immortal in the eternal sense. They know their end will come. Ragnarok, the final battle, looms in every tale. Even in creation, the seeds of destruction are planted. Ginnunga gap still exists. Niflheim still freezes. Muspel still burns. The balance of fire and ice is never resolved, only paused. In this myth, we see a universe not built for perfection, but for struggle. A cosmos born from opposition, maintained through vigilance and destined to fall. And perhaps that's why it feels so human. After journeying through the mythologies of Greece, Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Norse lands, a pattern begins to emerge. Despite vast differences in geography, language, culture, and cosmology, these stories, some separated by thousands of miles and millennia, echo each other. They whisper the same essential truth. The universe begins in chaos. Not chaos as senselessness, not chaos as destruction, but as potential, as formless, fluid, undivided possibility. And from that chaos, the cosmos is shaped, sometimes peacefully, often violently, always with meaning. In the Greek myth, chaos is a void, but one that births Gaia and Eros, the earth and desire. It is empty but fertile. It creates the conditions for relationship, for life. The act of creation is one of emergence, not conquest, but it soon leads to conflict, to rebellion, overthrow, and cosmic succession. In Mesopotamia, chaos takes the form of the waters, Apsu and Tiamat, whose union births gods, and whose war with those gods gives rise to the world. Here, creation is violent and explicit. Order is imposed by force. Marduk must slay the mother of chaos to build the cosmos. And humanity is born not from love or divine planning, but from the blood of a traitor. Creation through domination. In Egypt, chaos is not slain. It is eternal. Nun, the dark waters, never truly disappear. They're the backdrop to the cosmos, not its enemy. The gods rise from it, yes, but they do not destroy it. They structure it. Each day, the rising of the sun reaffirms that balance can be drawn from darkness, and that chaos is not dangerous, only unshaped. In the Norse myth, Ginnungagap holds space between ice and fire, a tension so elemental that life is born from their touch. And again, the first being, Ymir, must die for the world to exist. Like Tiamat, his body becomes geography. Like Kronos and Uranus, he is the old world slain by the new. Creation through sacrifice. So what does this tell us? It tells us that across civilizations, humans have sensed a truth we still feel today, that the world is not guaranteed, and that order is precious. That beneath all structure, beneath our cities, our languages, our calendars, even our thoughts, there lies a deeper current of formlessness. And that current, that chaos, is both our origin and our constant companion. We dream of stability. We carve temples, chant prayers, build governments, and pass down laws. But deep down, we know they are fragile. We sense that the world is only ever one misstep away from falling back into darkness. And so we tell stories where gods rise from voids, where monsters are slain, where light is born from nothing. But those stories don't just soothe us. They shape us. They teach us to see chaos not as failure, but as the beginning of potential. They remind us that creation often requires confrontation, not just with monsters or parents or giants, but with the unknown itself. In every myth, chaos is not truly defeated. It is transformed. The primordial beings are killed, yes, but their bodies become the world. Their blood becomes rivers. Their breath becomes wind. Their death becomes life. In that sense, chaos never disappears. It becomes form, and form, inevitably, begins to shift again. The process is never finished. The world is always in the act of becoming. That may be the most universal message of all, that the gods did not simply build the world. They are the world. And that in each of us, in our cells, our dreams, our fears, the memory of that first chaos still lingers, still vibrates, still calls us to create. The ancient myths may seem distant, carved in stone, sung in forgotten tongues, scattered across dusty scrolls. But their power endures, not just as relics, but as living symbols. Their echoes shape the stories we tell, the worlds we build, and the fears and hopes we carry. Today, we still speak of chaos and order. We still imagine cosmic battles between darkness and light, between the wild and the structured, the old and the new. We still tell tales of heroes slaying beasts, of worlds born from the ruins of old ones. In modern fantasy and science fiction, the fingerprints of these creation myths are everywhere. In The Lord of the Rings, the world is shaped by song, a direct echo of creation through divine breath or vibration, found in several ancient traditions. In God of War, the Titans and Norse giants are central figures, not just as background, but as active, emotional beings whose stories mirror the myths we've explored. In video games like Dark Souls, the transition from a dark, formless world to a structured one, and the fear of returning to the abyss, directly invokes the cyclical anxieties of the Egyptian and Norse traditions. Even in superhero stories, we find it. Characters like Thanos, wielding cosmic power to balance the universe, are spiritual descendants of mythic figures like Marduk or Odin, gods who impose order through sacrifice. In an Attack on Titan, Ymir is not just a name. It's a direct reference to the Norse progenitor, whose death shaped the world. But perhaps the most lasting impact is not in pop culture, but in the way we think. Every time we speak of a new beginning, we unconsciously echo these ancient narratives. When we say someone rises from the ashes, we invoke creation through destruction. When we fear that the world is falling into chaos, we are repeating a fear older than writing. That order is fragile, that we are always one step from a void. And yet, we also believe, like the Egyptians did, that this order can be renewed, that balance can be restored, that the world can begin again. These myths are not just stories. They are frameworks. They help us understand change. They give shape to our anxieties, to our aspirations. They remind us that even the gods came from somewhere, and that what was once dark, empty, and silent can become something radiant, structured, and full of life. So the next time you read a story of worlds created from monsters or hear of a universe born from a scream, remember, we've been telling that story for over 5,000 years. And we still believe it. From the silent depths of Nun to the fiery chaos of Muspel, from Tiamat's dismembered body to Ymir's bloody fall, we've seen that creation is never simple. It is struggle, transformation, memory. These myths are more than origin stories. They are maps, not of geography, but of meaning. They show us how ancient cultures made sense of the world, and in doing so, they help us understand ourselves. They remind us that chaos is not our enemy. It is our beginning. So now we turn the question to you. Which creation myth spoke to you the most? Was it the quiet emergence of Egyptian balance, the violence of Babylonian conquest, the brutal sacrifice in Norse legend, or the cosmic family drama of Greece? Let us know in the comments. And if you have your own myth of creation, whether cultural, personal, or imagined, we'd love to hear that too. Because the oldest stories still breathe. And as long as we tell them, as long as we reshape them, they're still creating worlds.